Hello everyone, the Nerdy Steve here, and today we'll be featuring a Jund Explorer Adventure deck. The link to the deck list is in the description below. I'll go over the basic game plan, the card choices, and a little bit about the sideboard, and then we'll play some matches. So let's go. If you played Standard for the past couple years, or Explorer recently, you'll know the basic premise of this deck. Lucky Clover ended up getting banned in Standard because of how it functioned with all the adventure cards. So Lucky Clover is a 2-mana artifact that when you cast a spell with adventure, you copy it. And normally it is in a Temur build that would copy Brazen Borrower as well and Fae of Wishes to get a lot of cards from the sideboard and win that way. However, in this version, we're doing something a little different. Where we're kind of, instead of recurring cards from the sideboard, we're drawing more cards within our own deck and recurring them from the graveyard. So with our adventure creatures, we have Innkeeper, which is a staple, which is whenever you cast a creature spell with adventure, you draw a card. So after you cast all your adventure creatures for their adventure cost, when you cast them again, you get to draw more cards. And that kind of works better in this deck than maybe the Temur version because we have Foulmire Knight, which is 1 mana. We have a lot of cheaper creatures to recast to draw off that way. But when we talk about copying stuff with the Lucky Clover, we have Foulmire Knight, which will draw you a lot of cards. We have Order of Midnight, which can return creatures from your graveyard, specifically other adventure creatures that have died, and then you get to recast them for their adventure and then the creature. We have Shieldbreaker to destroy opposing artifacts, and Rimrock Knight to pump up creatures. Murderous Rider can kill planeswalkers and other creatures. We have Bonecrusher Giant and Lovestruck Beast, which are the two probably more powerful adventure cards, even outside of a Lucky Clover shell. Bonecrusher Giant has the ability to get back in the game after, if you're behind on the board, you can kill a lot of creatures for one spell. It can kill a planeswalker that's at 4 loyalty if you have a Lucky Clover, or with multiple Lucky Clovers. You can do better and more things with it, and it is always very, very powerful and very, very surprising. Lovestruck Beast kind of is the same thing. For 1 mana, you can create multiple 1/1s, but even without the Lucky Clover, a turn 1 Heart's Desire followed by a turn 3 Lovestruck Beast can be surprisingly aggressive versus a lot of decks. And it's also 5/5 body is really, really good to stall against decks where you need a really big blocker, right? And then this is where we also have Beanstalk Giant, which with Lucky Clover, you thin your deck and ramp yourself so you're able to cast more things more quickly. And then I also have to the Wilds, which draws you 5 cards. You get to play another land drop, and it's going to give you so much of an advantage. You want to usually wait to play Escape to the Wilds until like after your 5th turn so you can ensure that you get the most cards you can possibly can out of it. And then I have some weird choices which I've been playing around with and which I've enjoyed. We have the Great Henge with, if you do a Lovestruck Beast on turn 3 followed by the Great Henge on turn 4, you're gonna just start gaining so much of an advantage. Not only do your adventured creatures do their thing when you put them on an adventure, and not only do you potentially draw a card from an Innkeeper when you cast it, now when they enter play, you draw more cards, right? And that's also part of what makes this deck very, very good. With your Beanstalk Giant and Escape to the Wilds, you have so many lands in play. Great Henge gives you 2 mana. So you're drawing all these cards and you can use them. And you just really, really are hopefully overwhelming your opponent with everything you're contributing to the board, right? Then I also have Boneyard Lurker and Gemrazer. And I'm not entirely sold on these yet, but there's something I'm playing around with. Boneyard Lurker, when it mutates onto a creature, you get to return something from your graveyard. And that's really, really good because with all of your adventure creatures, Sometimes you have a toolbox. Maybe you need another Order of Midnight. Maybe you need a Rimrock Knight, or you need to draw a card from Foulmire Knight, right? You can get a Lucky Clover that's been destroyed. And you could also get, I have a 1-of Shigeki, which is also another weird card, but with Shigeki and Order of Midnight and Boneyard Lurker, you can kind of go into this looping situation where you can just kind of get all the cards you need over and over again and recast all your Lucky Clovers to eventually, and your Stomps to just kill your opponent, right? Then I have the Gemrazer if I want to remove problematic enchantments and artifacts from our opponent. And the sideboard is basically kind of an overall similar plan that any Jund deck would have. We have more early interaction if we need it with either Fatal Push and Fry. We have Thoughtseize for hand disruption if you're kind of afraid of maybe more counter control-y decks that you need to disrupt them early and you otherwise can't interact with them. We have big creatures if you just need to, ramp into something really, really big, because this deck can ramp very easily, and so on. So the sideboard can also probably change based on metagaming. There's a lot of different cards you can add or remove, but this has just kind of been working for me, and I'm testing a lot of different stuff, and we'll see how it goes. So with that, let's play a couple games. All right, Batal. Black Staff of Waterdeep. Okay. Hopefully this means our Embereth Shieldbreaker will show up and really ruin our opponent's day. I think I just want to draw cards here. I don't necessarily care trading 1-for-1 here, just because we're going to be drawing so many cards. And I think maybe we lose if our opponent gets a big automaton. Do that and we'll just draw, and then we say go. So next turn, I don't know if we want to escape yet. We probably want to Beanstalk Giant and draw stuff with our Rimrock Knight. Because our Escape to the Wilds will draw us a hoop ton of cards, so if we can get a lot of mana before then, I think that'd be really, really great. On an Innkeeper, okay. Go. And now our escape is going to be really, really amazing. Are we ever afraid of Metallic Rebuke? I don't even know if that's Explorer legal. So... Okay, activating that. We do get to block here. Oh, wow. I guess we'll see if it's Explorer legal. And we'll say no. If they can give this flying somehow, that'd be good for them. But they couldn't, so it was good for us. Alright. I think I want Titan of Industry and Unleash the Inferno. Probably Fatal Push. We can get rid of that, all of our grindy stuff. Because I don't think it will be needed. And then let's go. Alright, Batal. Or Oko, if that is your real name. This hand is good if our opponent doesn't have the ward creature, right? I mean, it's still fine against the ward creature, but we're gonna have to take our time to deal with it, which I don't love. Oh, our opponent didn't keep anything, any turn 2 play? Tapped? Interesting. And a casket? Okay. Kinda wanna draw a card. We can save the Fatal Push, right? I think we can. So we can Bonecrusher the Patchwork Automaton. And it is a reverse engineer? Okay. Yes. Then we get to... And we get to destroy Portable Hole. Create a 4/4. And now our opponent is not in a great spot. They could have a Wrath of God. Hard. Okay.
There is great power in the kingdom.
GG. Okay. Keep. Innkeeper, go. We have turn 2 Clover, followed up by Stomp on turn 3 if we need it. We can deal a lot of damage very, very quickly. I kind of don't hate the Shigeki here. It gives us a land. Growth Spiral. So that's what we do. Really want to hit our land drops. Though, maybe it's not worth with the trade for Stomp or drawing a card from the Crusher. We also don't really know what our opponent's at or on. I have a feeling they might be elementals. No. I have no idea what this is. None. Maybe some weird control deck. So I'm going to keep the Shigeki then. Escape. Oh, they are the elemental deck. Alright. What could be the Foretold card? Is Alrune's maybe it's Alrune's Epiphany? And then we get to deal Stomp them for 9. Opponent goes to 8. They can Genesis Ultimatum. Huh. We also can Shigeki back a lot of stuff, too. If our opponent's ultimatum is not particularly wonderful. Omnath, which I figured. Oh, they get to Omnath into Fabled Passage. Or Cobra. Omnath, Cobra, Fabled Passage, yep. And they can Epiphany? No. I guess maybe we could have kept up the stomp to kill the Omnath in response to the fetch land trigger. Alright, don't find anything. Don't find anything, please. Oh no. That's enough for an epiphany. Which they most certainly have now. Endless Detour. Okay. Maybe our opponent doesn't get anything, and they do. Yeah. That was unfortunate. Thoughtseize. Alright, that can come out, that can come out. We don't necessarily have a lot of things for this matchup. Play. We'll keep. This is not great, by the way. But our opponent's doing cool stuff, so... we want to encourage that behavior. Are they gonna counter it? I guess we put it on top. I don't know. There's a lot our opponent can do. Even a Risen Reef would be backbreaking. If our opponent does Omnath here, we want to cry. They need the white mana. Thoughtseize. Oh, by Omnath. Maybe that is Epiphany and they can't cast it. You don't want it to be a Doomscar. GG. I thought we were gonna lose. Oh, wow. Do you know what? That makes Magic worth it. Sometimes you just need a 5/5 creature for 3 mana. Wow. That Thoughtseize was backbreaking. Let's draw more. Okay. Don't wipe our board, opponent, please. Thank you. Would like a little more untapped lands. Hydroid Krasis, okay. Let's Thoughtseize our opponent. We get rid of the Omnath. They have Ugin, but I think we can kill them before they get to 8 mana. Maybe... Oh, that's a little rough, but... I think if we... Oh, no. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We just do this to draw cards at this point. We will discard a Proving Ground. Ugin is pretty good here. Gets to exile everything. But what we actually can do here, right, is this, then a giant. We lose this Innkeeper. We're at 9. Ether Gust, decline, okay. One, two, three, four, 5. So 1. But we're only on a 3-turn clock, which is not fantastic. Oh no.
My flames burn beyond redemption.
If we do this, for 1 to get back the escape, and then we escape into a land and a stomp, we are fine. I think we need to go for it this turn. Got it. Pay 2 life. Pay 2 life. Stomp. G. Thank you for watching me play. Jund Adventure and Explore. The deck was really, really fun, really, really interesting, and I think it has the potential to be really, really good. But there are a couple things to keep note. Fatal Push, probably not the best in this deck. A lot of times you want Fatal Push or the instant speed interaction to kill things like Grease Fang that cost 3 or 4 mana. And this deck does not have a reliable way to have the revolt part of Fatal Push happen. So a lot of times it's not as good as a card as you want. In more aggressive matchups like mono red or mono white, Fatal Push is probably fine. But even then, not being able to reliably kill an Adelaide is just going to be something that you're going to miss. So I don't know what other types of removal you might want. I had Red Cat Melee in the sideboard, so that might be something to consider. Obviously, you're going to be losing a land a lot of times against non-red decks, but it is definitely much more reliable. I also think maybe Embereth Shieldbreaker is probably not that main deckable, honestly, but it was good against an artifact deck, so if you think you're going to go against them, keep it main deck, otherwise probably better in the sideboard. I just, overall, I think the deck has a lot of potential, and if you know the metagame you're in, it can probably be adjusted for that. And specifically in a more aggressive metagame, Lucky Clover with Bonecrusher Giant and Lovestruck Beast is always going to be a really, really, really powerful thing to do, because being able to just 2-for-1 your opponent and then cast the creature to make it a 3-for-1 is just really, really powerful and something that a lot of decks can't beat. However, against the more combo-y decks like Grease Fang or maybe even Phoenix, this deck is probably going to have a hard time against, and that's there to keep in mind. But with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, you should totally like, comment, or subscribe. Those are great ways to support this channel. You could also watch me stream live Magic the Gathering on Twitch at twitch.tv/thenerdysteve. And with that, I just want to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. Bye.